You got a smile that brights up the room or lights up the room. Damn it. Well, I guess you just put a plaque on the wall. Huh? Get it? Plaque. All right. That was not the best. I guess you just floss me out. Oh, you flossy, huh? Yeah, so Drake and Swiss Beats, it's kind of an old beef, but for algorithm purposes, let's talk about it. Nothing to talk about. What was it? What was it he said in the You Only Live Twice song? You sound like a bitch. You fancy, huh? If I ain't got you, Alicia Keys will make sure she has got you. But yeah. Recording this on Christmas Eve, by the way, because I am a festive zesty. Ooh, not zesty. Woo, hey, watch out with the zestiness. I don't get what's wrong with zest, My favorite bar of soap used to be Zest, right? So I guess if you're wiping with Zest, they say they say your body wash, your deodorant, it literally changes your body. It literally changes your hormones, your moods. I think it's some like aluminum, stuff like that, like bipro. It's something with aluminum, some in the periodic table of elements. There's a couple things out there. Degrees typically pretty good. Old Spice can be meh. And then like the cheaper deodorant, like Axe is terrible. Tag, you're it. Cancer, bitch. I remember I used to just spray that Tag shit in like 6th grade after gym. Sometimes just as a shower, replace it. It's like trying to replace caffeine. It's like, you know what? I'm going to cut back on coffee and we're going to have some Ghost Sour Pink Lemonade, huh? I'll tell you what, I do love it how the camera automatically makes it look extra pink. It's like a big vulva in my hand. What? You don't even know what that is? It's like, I know it's close enough. I'm evolving. This whole podcast is an evolution. They call me the Charles Darwin of podcasting because there will still people that doubt me, but overall you can't deny that I'm the truth, bitch. Yeah. Haha. See, you gotta get him to speak before you make something else leak. The air conditioning unit, because there's so much mold in it, so I have to turn it off. I know turn a few things off, just not the power bill. That thing stays turned on. Very, very turned on. But yeah, I don't know what the fuck just happened. This was not. What the fuck was I talking about? Vulva, pink can, Nick Cannon. He's held a few pink cans and surrogates in his life. Nothing wrong with that. He's not like he's wilding out or anything. Nope. All right. I forgot. I think one of his baby mamas, I don't like that term. One of his mother's children, apparently that's more respectful. Baby mom was more like a slang term. It's more like, yeah, I fucked up. But my mother's, my child's mother, that's like a respectable way of saying something. It's like, but daddy, why wouldn't you marry her? It's like, well, hey, son, you gotta draw the line somewhere. I can have children. I can pay, I give her money, but God forbid living with this woman. I just can't do it. It's crazy how like people have children with people, like do everything and all this stuff, and they have children like, hey, I just hope this ain't gonna happen. like that's the logic behind a lot of this stuff. Don't look at me. I'm not saying this about me. This is the world we live in, all right? See what happens. They do their hair a couple times. Like, what do you mean? It's like I'm speaking for the masses. You know I'm not. I'm different. I'm the 1%. Jesus, this is a lot of uncomfortable laughter. All right. I don't know what else to say. Welcome to episode 244 of the Off and Beat podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. And that's what, you know what? That's what separates me from the rest of y'all overly edited podcasts. You guys have to edit out all of your uninteresting shit. I am the most interesting man in the world. And I don't even drink Dos Equis. That's what separates me. Like, if you guys were to do a live pod in front of people realize how annoying you are. And you know what? People may realize how annoying I am. But at least I will just keep being annoying until they like me. That's what being with the girls like. You just have to keep being annoying to the point where they have to like you. See? Be complicated. I'm like Drake. I got a lot of complications inside me. There's always people misleading me. Always trying to guide me. There's always people that want to try me but never buy me. Damn. That's actually kind of a sad line. But anyways, yeah. Welcome to episode 244 of the Off and Beat podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Most important, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to suck some titties. And if you get down to the vulva, let them know it's all pipes. Get it? All right. I'm such a fool. Yeah, recording this on was it Jesus's birthday eve? It's funny how Jesus is such a, what is it? I think Christmas Day is like his birthday or whatever, or something like that. So how come he gets a celebration before the celebration? But us humans, well, actually we do, because most girls, like, their whole month is their birthday for some reason. It's like a whole 2 weeks, like, oh, Tuesday, we got to go do this. And then Friday, we go out to eat. And then next week, we go bust it down with the ladies. Tatiana. No, it's Tatiana. Well, typically, it's always a Tatiana involved. If there's a group of 7 girls, there's always a Tatiana. And she's always the most ratchet. I ain't talking about the ones, but Clank. That's a video game reference. All right. Yeah, she be clanking a few things. Even though Ratchet and Clank is literally a fox and a freaking robot. It's basically me and my cat's relationship. She's just a robot that just does whatever I designate to do. Now I'm the one out there. But yeah. Recording this on Christmas Eve, December 24th at 2:02 p.m. Eastern. I do like doing these early afternoon more than nighttime. I like, getting sleep. They say sleep is the most important thing the body needs. And yet, the world revolves as like, you know what? We're not trying to maximize human performance. We're trying to minimize so only the few that have control of everything can maximize what they can maximize. Because they say sleep is the most... I think, you talk to any... you listen to any of these rich-ass motherfuckers. They will all say the same thing, but we all just keep one different answer. They all say the importance of sleep is... Like, they're basically telling you, like, you guys working for us at Amazon, working for us at fill-in-the-blank job. Gotta protect myself nowadays. But any job, it's like, sleep is the most important thing, but hey, you got to work 13, 14 hours a day here. But sleep is the most important thing, We're trying to maximize human performance, but you got to be here 13, 14 hours a day. All right. But when studies have shown that essentially, I think it's like after like 3.5 hours, max human performance is basically gone. So Maybe shifts should be shortened. Like, I don't think higher, like, how do you do that, though? Because people have got to make a certain amount of money to live. And so most people have to work 10 plus hours a day just to survive out here. But, you know, there are these opportunities at places where, hey, you can work a lot of hours. The pay's okay, but you're going to have to work a lot of hours. It's kind of mandatory. And you're just like, well, my options are pretty limited. That's what they rely on. Limited options. We are sold that we just had these abundance of options out here. And we do. But we don't really. Like, technically the options are out there. But not everyone is quote unquote qualified. Kind of like when you apply for a credit card. And they're like, hey, I want to apply for this credit card. And they're like, we can't match the $2,500 credit limit. It's like, I literally have $85,000 in my bank account. Why the fuck can't you match it? A $2,500 credit limit? It's like, hey, you don't qualify. Your credit score is 650. Nah, we prefer the 800s. It's like, I could literally buy 40 of these fucking credit cards right now and pay them off if I wanted to. What do you mean I don't qualify? See, it's all these, like, even when you hit levels, they got to find ways to remind you that you don't control shit. Right? You don't have access. You don't have power over anything. You are just a dumbass looking motherfucker out here. And then you're trying to, you have to apply. Think about like the craziness of applying for credit cards, applying for mortgages, applying for stuff. You are literally applying to put yourself in a crazy amount of debt. Think about it, like you're applying like voluntarily. I want to go with debt. And they're like, we got to see if you qualify to fuck up your life. It's like, it's just another way of fucking up my life, you know? Whether people gamble, whether people have alcohol problems, whether people have this problem. We don't try to manage that. There's no limit. There's no qualification process other than quote unquote age and state you live in, I guess. Well, age is only numbered to, you know, Giddy and R. Kelly. The Giddy stuff's unproven. It's like, well, TikTok never lied. Nothing like trying to solve a underage minor with an NBA star investigation and 10-second TikTok videos. That's all the context you need. But, yeah. You know, I think credit cards are an absolute, just a way to keep people bogged down. Here's money you don't have. We tell you if you qualify for it. And then you have to qualify because of credit score. You want to look any closer? Closer to my dreams. I only know that because Drake did a sample off of it. But that's the thing, like, the thing I'm insane is, like, hey, I have to qualify in your guys' eyes to put myself in massive amounts of debt. Who are you to qualify that I want to fuck myself up for the next 20 years of my life? You know? Like, it never stopped you. You know, I think it's like 80% of mortgages never get paid off. So, obviously, your qualification process is not really about whether people pay it off or not. It's just like, will they pay enough of it off? You know? But I know, ignorant fuck talking about real estate. Just because I don't have a portfolio. Yeah. But they're the same ones that have 85, what is it called, terabytes of child porn on their computer. Talking about, you need a portfolio. It's like, there's a reason why you work from home with a VPN. Which I always kind of find weird how these VPNs, it's kind of odd that they advertise this shit all the time. And it's actually fairly cheap. It's like, you could protect, and they advertise this way, you could protect your identity so you don't get hacked. And if you have a Netflix account, you could watch shit from South Korea. And it's like, there's like, South Korea, they don't show anything in South Korea. Everything's limited. Why would I want to watch nothingness of South Korea? You know, it's probably just documentaries of their dictator in a favorable light. I want to watch one of Taiwan because then, you know, have like a VPN of Taiwan and North Korea, and then you can see who actually references the other. It's funny how like legitimately it's this big thing where America, since we do a lot of business with China, North Korea, South Korea, aid in the Ukraine, how apparently John Cena, this was a while back, but John Cena did a movie, and since it was distributed in North Korea, he mentioned Taiwan just like in passing, and since they don't identify Taiwan, like they don't exist in their eyes, even though on the global map it's literally under them, but whatever. And he had to apologize for saying, I'm sorry for mentioning a country by their name. I'm sorry for mentioning that there's people that live in this country. Essentially, all because I have to sell some animated movie where I'm playing a dog as John Cena. Like, what's the point of being big as fuck if you're just going to do a voiceover of a poodle? Like, I don't know. That's not why I would take steroids. If I was taking steroids, I would be wearing a lot of baggy clothing because I would have a bad back. But yeah, talk about smacking it down raw. So, what was it called? The Gynecologist? One time, this is actually a true story. I took my mom to the doctor's office to see the gynecologist. I think it's a woman's doctor. I went in there and I noticed I was the only man in the waiting room. Because, I gave my mom a ride. She has some woman business. I don't know exactly. But, so I was in there. And she was filling out some paperwork. And I was sitting right next to her. And I didn't know what it was. Like, I thought it was just a specific doctor that anyone could go to. Like, there's not a woman's heart doctor. There's not a woman's, like, chest doctor. There's not I guess there is a tit doctor. But then again, like, you have, like, you get breast surgery as a man or a woman by the same doctor. Like, cut out the gyno. Get it? But if you develop, like, let's say you were to take massive amounts of steroids and shit, and you were to develop a lot of male breast tissue that technically would be identified as female tissue, would you go to the gynecologist? Because technically you have female breast tissue. So, like, what is the difference between if I grow big ass titties and it looks like a female? Like, what's the difference between a female tissue than a male tissue? Like, I understand, like, there's a lot of excess fat around, the part. But at the same time, I know I sound ignorant as fuck right now. But, like, is it really, like, should there be a size cap, right? Like, male or woman, if your tits go above a B cup, you have to go to the gynecologist for any breast tissue. Anything below that, you can just see your pediatrician because you have kid titties. That sounded terrible. I'm just saying, when I was a child, I had small. Actually, I probably had the same size. It's just shaped a little different. I guess that's what they mean by shape up, bro. Shape it. All right. Anyways, since I am a shapeshifter, that would be kind of cool to be a shapeshifter. I think those are people that kind of time travel, and they kind of go in different time frames in the future and past, and they try to stop other shapeshifters from changing it. I think that's the thing. Like, most shapeshifters' jobs are to stop other shapeshifters from changing the progress of what already happened. Because once you fuck up, it affects this chain effect and stuff starts not making sense. And the more skeptical people get of shapeshifters, the more chaos it causes. You know, this conspiracy issue, right? If I was a shapeshifter, if I could go back in time and change one thing in all of civilization, you know, I literally just thought of this, so I honestly don't know what I would change, but I'm just going to say something that I feel like would be worth changing. I would make Princess Diana a baddie. See, what we should have done is brought Princess Diana to the States. Have her leave the royal family. You know, she kind of reminds me of my mother back in the day. Like, looking back at old videos, she had 2 little blonde children-ish. Well, I guess one was a redhead, Harry. And Harry is literally riding the coattails off of his mom dying in the royal family. And then him staying in the royal family, knowing that there was a lot of inside jobs that actually killed his mom. And bitches complain about a lot of things that happened in the royal family, but you didn't have the stones, as they would say, to leave it. And so then he stays, brings an outsider from America, the Duchess of Suits, Meghan Markle, gets her, you know, brings her into the royal family. And then she's like, you know, people shame on her for, like, you know, leaving the royal family and all that stuff. Like, oh, she just did it for a media ploy and all this stuff. And all that may be true. But, you know, maybe she actually is like, hey, you realize these people are more than likely responsible for your mom not being here anymore. You kind of get that, right? But there's so much royalties attached, right? And they have a nice baby named Archer. And, well, I guess that's what happens when you arch her. Welcome to the Golden Arches, baby. She got that double quarter pounded, all right. I'm such a... All right. You know, this is the beauty of marketing, is they actually... Like, McDonald's legitimately calls something an arch card when all it is a fucking gift card to McDonald's, but the play on words of arch card will enhance the sales infinitely. Just because, like, oh, I got a Domino's gift card. Oh, I got a Starbucks gift card. I got a Fago de Chow gift card. I got an arch card. It sounds prestigious. Like, if there was no context of anything about arch, you'd be like, man, that sounds like a Brazilian... You know, that sounds like a Brazilian, Italian kind of hybrid cuisine place that like $48 on a minimum dish. And then it's just a McDonald's gift card. It's just an Arch card. And then out of all the things, they named their kid Archer, which is cool, I guess. I don't know. There's a TV show named after Archer. But I guess if it suits her well. Okay, nope. All right. And I do know he served in the military and all that good stuff. Like, that's, you know, that's all fine and dandy. But the thing that's, like, kind of annoying about him is at first I used to think, like, oh, he seems like a relatively kind of down-to-earth normal person considered the rest of the family. But when you see, like, how someone acts when they separate from the family, when they don't have the family the blame for their stuff anymore, you've moved away from them, even though he still gets like some money, technically attachments from being in the royal family, even not living there, living here in America. And then they're publicly they're trying to be this like power symbol couple, you know, capitalize on it, which is fine. But it's kind of like that antidote. I don't know if antidote is the right word, but I'm going to change some words up and make it seem like I know what antidote means. And antidote. And so they come around. They come to America. And they make it where they're trying to have a podcast. And I know I talked about the Spotify thing a while ago, but it's, you know, it's more of, They're trying to have the same media thing when they try to move to America to get away from the royal public image family. But really, they didn't want to escape the public limelight. They just wanted their own limelight in a very different light, ironically. Where the light is. John Mayer. Nothing says I'm trying to escape the public limelight than going to fucking Los Angeles, right? And like, and the thing is, I don't think they're inherently bad people. Like, I don't think they're rude to people or nothing like that. But you got to kind of read what people are doing, read their quote unquote moves. And that kind of tells you what their real get up is of what they're trying to get across. It wasn't about escaping the royal family. It was legitimately, we want our own attention. We want to be able to, I guess, be able to have our own image, own our own image, and not be attached to this outdated art. And it's kind of weird that we just, like, all you Brits and English people are cucks. Like, you're really just like these people in a castle that they don't pass law. As far as I'm aware, they don't pass laws. They're more just like a moral clause of a image of what you should, a standard type of thing. And really, it's just inherited money, a shitload of money they inherit over years and years based off secret, undisclosed businesses they do, quote unquote. And I'm sure there probably is like open public business, but you don't have that type of money having complete public businesses that can be taxed. Let's just be honest about it. And the whole shtick is just the fact that it's just passed on, and we just respect this generational wealthy royal-ish tea type of family that has a lot of sketchy history. And apparently the thing that made them leave was one of the royal old ass people saying something about, because Archer's like mixed or biracial, and saying something about, it's like, you know what, that's probably like the least offensive thing they have probably said in the past like 100 years of offensive things they may have said. And Harry has probably heard it all growing up, but the second it was a half-ass thing about their son, all of a sudden that's where he draws the line. Like, if you had any spine of a ball sack, you would have said something. The first 85 times they spoke about something along those lines. I'm just being honest. You can't change 80-plus-year-olds and how they think and what they say. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that came up. Sounds like a royal pain in the ass. I've talked about the royal family way too much on this show. I just realized they come up every once every couple months. I mention them for some random ass reasons. I don't know. Woo! They call me the kitty litter of the town, because every time I kick my feet around, shit hits the fan. The funny part is actually I don't have any fans here. Wah, wah, wah. So, I did have a recent comment saying, hey, I wish we were friends. I don't know if it was rhetoric. I don't know if it was sarcastic, being serious. But anytime, bud. I don't know how people are friends on the internet that you don't meet up with. I don't know how people make friends in YouTube comments. But either way, you got a friend in me. Besides, friend is such a loose term anyways. Like, the things that people define as friends is the standards are pretty low these days. It's kind of like when people say, like, oh, we're not together. It's like, okay, but you live. It's like, oh, we're not together. It's like, okay, you live together, you have kids together, you invest together, you have cars together. Did I mention you guys have like kids together? And they're like, yeah, but you know, we're not really together, you know. It's all this. It's like you have all the things set in place, but you just won't say some words, right? Your actions say you're together, whether you want to or not. And then there's the vice versa, where literally people have done nothing together. Like they don't do shit with each other. You know, they meet up a couple times, get high, whatever takes place after, takes place after. Slept in a car together because, you know, one person got kicked out and you were there to show moral support. And then, it was a hypothetical. God damn. Jesus. This is why you do it by yourself. This is why you do it in an empty home, kids. But, like, that's the thing. Like, there's love out here. It's the complete opposite. People, like, we're not together, this and that. And then people say we are together because, you know, he bought me Taco Bell once. You're like, damn, that's all it takes? Oh, yeah. The boy is in. I just get you whatever box I want to get the box. I've been tearing this shit up the whole time. I didn't even realize. But yeah, but you know, people just have their priorities fucked up. People they're afraid to say, "Oh, we're this," even though you literally have a life together. And then some people are just so desperate. It's like, "Oh my God, he held the door for me." Just pull down your pants already. Like that like the standards are either too low or they're just completely like, what happened to just like a common sense range? Like, I understand people have like a process. People have trauma. Some people are just traumatic people. And there's a process. Like, it's not an amount of time, but certain steps you have to hit to hit the bullseye or at least reach a comfort space. Where, like, just one day you're driving, next thing you know, he's like, you know, touching your hair. Is like, you never touch my hair. It's like, you know, it's just days like this when we travel, when we go to the Orion's belt, it just makes me appreciate. And there's other times, all you have to do is just be like, hey, so you bored today? And she's like, anything you want to do. And that's all it takes. Like, there was nothing that had to happen. Like, that's the thing. We just have a low moral standard high ground. Or we have people who have no business to have morals and standards. And then they just, like, you know, they get caught up in their own spin cycle. But they can't even do dishes. It's always the bitches that can't do dishes. They're like, you need a do. Stop looking at me. See, you're fucking up the. I'm not even talking about you. God. Yeah. It's like, see, like, you know, it's crazy part is that, like, it's one thing if someone doesn't know how to use the dishwasher, but they hand wash dishes. That's actually more impressive. It's like, damn, you're really getting in it, you know. All those egg scrapings. I know it could be a lot. And then the worst is you have these bitches. And this is guys too, by the way. Like, when I say bitches, I mean just lazy ass bitches. Have you ever, like, had a roommate or anyone that just, like, whatever dish is in there, they don't even, like, wash it out. They just throw that shit in the dishwasher. And then, like, you open the dishwasher, like, none of anything was really clean, and all it did was just spread all the nasty shit all over the place. And then you have to come up after, and then, like, be there. You're getting, like, scraping it with your fingernail because they had some little grease burger fucking beef, like, hard on the bowl. And then it's like, God. But yeah. And they don't know how to do laundry. Like, you know, I know it's like people either know, like, people don't know how to do one. Like, it's not like someone knows how to do one thing but not the other. It's either like if someone you meet doesn't know how to do one thing, they don't know how to do anything. Like if they don't know how to do dishes, they don't know how to sweep. They don't know how to do laundry. They don't know how to put on socks. Like, they don't know how to rub your feet, you know? So, like, that's basically like, if you want to know, you just basically like, uh-oh, we got a lot of training to do. But luckily for me, I know how to do everything. But see, it's okay if you don't actually know, quote unquote, every little thing right. But you need, like, if someone doesn't even know the buttons to press, you're like, whoa. When they don't even know, like, where's the dish detergent? You're like, oh, Jesus. Like, I literally, like, have you ever, I feel like, I once had to teach a girl how to do laundry. And that's when I knew. Not you. I was like, and it was like one of those things I was like flabbergasted. I was like, this isn't, you see, here's the things people get wrong about it. It's not about females or what males are supposed to do. These are like, what do you do all day? Like, honestly, like, you don't make enough money. You don't have someone doing this shit to justify not knowing how to freaking get a little scrub pad and getting your nasty ass noodles off your fork. Like, these dumbass, like, oh, but it's the extra sriracha on it. It's like, no, you're just a lazy, God, like, see, like, you know, I know people focus on all the wrong things, but don't know how to actually clean the shit. Like, oh, I got all these, like, it's like these girls are so focused on their health and well-being, right? You're focused on your health and well-being, but then you're out fucking eating out every other night. Oh, my spiritual cleansing and all this stuff. And then, you know what? You know what really spiritually cleanses the boy? Clean dishes. That's what cleans. That's what fills me good inside. Not talking. God damn it. But, like, it's all like you come across these videos. You come across these people like, it's all about taking care of yourself. All this skincare routine. Oh, you need to make sure you're meditating for an hour a day. And then you go to the fridge, and what do they have? Bologna and ketchup. And that's all they fucking have. And they're like, I don't understand why I have no energy. It's like, because you don't eat anything. You pay Uber Eats $30. You're drowning in debt. And you don't want to take an extra 20 minutes to put some eggs in a fucking pan and shuck it down. Like, and then you want to be passing advice on how to take care of yourself. Bitch. Like, God. Like, there's so many devices where you don't even need to know how to actually cook stuff. They do it for you. And you still are like, oh no, it's too expensive. But then you're going to spend $19 at a takeout Chinese place for a quarter of a pound of rice and like 18 pieces of over salty chicken and all that sodium. But yet, you could have bought a 10-pound bag of rice, 5 pounds of chicken, and made 19 of those same dishes. But I don't have the time. It's like you're unemployed. What do you mean you don't have the time? But yeah. Literally in the time that you drove to the place to pick it up, you could have made it. But hey, what the fuck do I know? Lazy ass people, man. I guarantee, right? It is typically to a certain level of income, but honestly, I would say most people these days, if you walk into most, I would say from the ages of like 24 to 32-year-old, right? It should be a range where you should know how to like make some stuff or be self-sufficient in some capacity. If you walk into most of these people's places, you will be surprised how much food people don't have in their fridge. You'd be surprised how much, like, oh, they have like that extra clean kitchen. You know why? Because they never fucking use it. Of course it's going to stay clean if you never fucking use it. So don't brag about, like, see this? You got to have slick counters. Clean. All I have to do, and then they do some, like, B-roll video of them, like, being inspirational while them spraying in the counter. See, guys, it's about keeping a clean countertop. And then you order Uber Eats every day. It's like, yeah, you never fucking use it. If I never use my dick, I'm never at risk of chlamydia. So it's not really a flex. Like, there's no flex. You're just cleaning dust. You're cleaning your cat pissing all over the counter more than anything. You probably sprayed more Windex to clean your nasty ass windows. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. But the point is that chances are these people that are like showing you how well they keep themselves together, there's probably a lot of areas that are lacking. But they want to sell you the fact that if you want to be like me, it's like, all right. But anyways, moving on to something more important. Ham sandwiches. I don't know. But yeah. I do feel like a pig in shit right now. As I'm being photobombed. She's like, don't you even. But yeah. You know, I've actually came across something where they say the dumb characters in these cartoons are typically actually the smartest ones when you actually break down of stuff they actually do. So someone said the same about Patrick the Star, Sheen from Jimmy Neutron, and Cosmo from the Fairy Odd Parents, and how they all, like, yes, they play dumb, they say dumb stuff. That's the thing. The words they say are dumb. But when you actually watch and they point out great examples, they actually do a lot more of the very, I think they called it the Asperger's smart, right? It's kind of a weird thing this is the term they used. Where it's like, in the very like things that most humans like, oh, we're so caught up in not looking dumb and this, that, and the other. And then we actually like forget like how to do stuff and stuff, like, and be solution solvers. Like they actually like, yeah, no, you just do this. And then like, they just basically saved your whole house from catching on fire, you know? But yeah, that was cool. So, sorry, it's a habit. Yeah, I've been ripping shit all day. Just not my pants yet. It's only a matter of time. These things are getting very thin around the seams. But sometimes it's just not what it seems. You see me, then you don't. Peekaboo, bitch. Is it peekaboo or pickaboo? I'm pretty sure that's what Santa. I'm pretty sure Santa actually has like 7 wives. Cause think about it, like that man's he works 1 day a year. That's when him and his wife, have their time together. And the rest of the year, he's spending time with the baddie elves. He seems like a guy that likes short girls. He's definitely in like he probably definitely likes like the gymnast type, the ones that are like 4'7" and under. It's like, wow, they're so flexible. It's like, you know what? I give everyone all these gifts, drain myself, go through 18 different time zones, and these humans bitch about jet lag. And I'm out here on a sleigh, slaying poom poom and down the chimney. He's like, hey, honey, how come you didn't leave us milk and cookies? And she's like, oh, he left some milk, all right. Jesus. The sticky bandit. Santa's a sticky bandit. Marv. He always makes sure she's home alone. Polka dot. But yeah, what if Santa was really he really is a homewrecker? Think about it. He comes down your chimney in the middle of the night. He leaves a bunch of shit that you have no clue what's in it for you or your kids. He fucks up your chimney. He leaves some milk and cookies that you don't know how it was made. You know? And think about like leaving coal in a stocking. Isn't that like an environmental hazard? You know, I'm not the environmental guy, but you know, it just seems like that would be a cold gesture. Ironically. It's because you heat up, coal's supposed to bring heat, but it's kind of a cold gesture. Cause like, psych, bitch, you ain't been shit this year. What if he's just like, but isn't like, wouldn't like a more like insulting thing be like to hand you lead, like mechanical lead pencil? Cause like that stuff would actually be messy and like get on your hands and shit. Coal is like, oh man, I could put this in the furnace and burn it, you know? Lead, you can't do nothing with lead unless you are led astray. Get it? Lead, ashtray, burning. All right. I realized I had to break it down because that didn't make any sense. Say, like, get it? Lead. Get it? Ass, titties, butt. You know, that type of thing. I'm definitely the guy that laughs at his own jokes more than people make me laugh. You know why? I think it's obvious. Sometimes you get so accustomed to your own self that sometimes nothing else entertains you. That sounded bad. But see, at least I have enough self-awareness to realize my blind spots. I guess not blind if I'm seeing right through it. The only thing making me blind is this fucking bright ass light I unnecessarily put behind this camera just so I'm, as they say, glowing. It is always kind of funny how they're like, oh, he's having a glow up. It's like, wow, last year he's this and this year he really had a glow up. It's like, I didn't have a glow up. I just make a shitload more money now. I can afford to look better. It's not really that complicated. No one's ever had a glow up making less money. I can tell you that. No one's went from making 50K to 20K and like, you know what? My skin is so much smoother. It's like, no, the stress is going to bump you up. But that's the thing about like glowing up. I hate that term because it's like, what are you trying to say? Like, man, he really had a glow up. You know, he's got a good jawline. He's got pectoral. He's got glutes. The maximus. You know, it's like, oh, he has a confidence. He has this. You know, he's got insurance. That's the stuff you really should look for. Like, not if a guy makes 80K a year. Does he, like, actually have all the other stuff? If shit goes... Because you have 80K, but if you don't have insurance, that shit's going down the drain if anything happens. Like, I'm more impressed with the guy who makes $48,000. Has health insurance, car insurance, a car, and... because you know he's still going to be broke after. But he's still making sure all the ducks are in a row. Pew, pew. Now that's the Duck Dynasty. That would be cool. You know, I would want to create like I don't know. I think the Duck Dynasty family, like, it's cool that they have like a whole family. And they all kind of like live together at some points and all that stuff. I don't know if I want to live. Like, when I have kids, I have a shitload of them. And like, do I want to live in a household with all of them after like the age of 20? No. Like, I like you, but get the fuck out. Like, go get a hobby. Go do something. Like, don't be like, oh, I want to spend time with you guys. Like, no, you just want an excuse to be a bum. That's what you want, you bum ass little bitch. I didn't raise you to be like that, Jacordy. Get the fuck out of here. Go fuck some bitch. Get a bitch pregnant. I don't care. Just go do something. God damn it. But you're not staying here having small talk about the purpose of life with me. Because I'm going to be like, you wasted my purpose if you're sitting here talking about the purpose of life when you haven't done anything to have purpose in your life. You got to find your purpose on purpose. But anyways. But yeah, I just love my children, So get the fuck out. And besides, like, you could love someone. You could have a bloodline, a DNA connection. You could see yourself. Look, you get annoyed by yourself. Like, I annoy myself. We all annoy ourselves. We all at point hate ourselves. Imagine literally seeing a little you and being like, shut the fuck up. Like, God, you remind me so much of me, and I hate it. Not really. I wouldn't hate someone that reminds me of stuff. I'd be like, damn, God really did do us justice in this DNA. But there's my ego talking. But, I would definitely look at you and be like, God, I really was a piece of shit at your age, wasn't I? Ugh. And I would hate to be the one when I was your age, I was out there conquering the world. And it's like, were you? It's like, I pretended I was, But that would be like, that's the thing. If I were to ever have like a quote unquote empire, as the kids say, which is weird how people call an empire just having a business that if you get one tax audit, you're fucked anyways. So you're not really an empire. Empire can survive tax audits. If your empire, quote unquote, can't survive prison time or a tax audit, it's not really an empire. But you know what? Everything's about king and queen, empire, building a castle, building a brand, and yet you guys don't even pay your own taxes on time. So, whatever the fuck. That's the type of empires. And the next thing you know, it's like, oh, they were running a Ponzi scheme. And you're like, yeah, no shit. You think they were making that money off fucking e-commerce? Selling freaking, lamps? Like, you really think they were making $8 million a year selling little lamps for you to do your homework studies? Like, no, they weren't. But you know what? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't want my kids to be entitled, but I wouldn't want my kids to like be one of those where they like. I feel like sometimes that's the thing. Like, when you have a little money and stuff, there's this thing where like you feel like you got to overdo it to try to prove like, no, you got to work harder because you came from money. It's like, I'm not saying give me money. I'm just saying like, hey, can you help with college? It's like, no, when I was your age, I had to work 8 jobs, flip my own burgers, sleep in my car. I didn't even have a car, You got to earn it. It's like, or you could, what's the point of making all this money? What's the point of doing all this for yourself? And having a family, if you're just going to be like, fuck your family. It's not about giving your kids everything, but, give them a chance. Not everything has to be so ultra difficult. Plus with inflation, Now if they fuck up what you give them, be like, hey, I did what I could. Now you got to get yourself out of it. That's the approach. Right? Like, I wouldn't pay for my kids' whole college. I would probably do something like, I'll pay for your first year and a half or 2. That means you're going to have 2 years where you can save up some money, get a head start. You have 2 years to set yourself up, getting a vehicle, all this bullshit. Put money aside, gamble it. I don't give a fuck, increase your odds. You have 2 years to figure out what you want to do with the money, with all the extra time you have. And then, then after that, the rest is going to be on you for the next 40 years of your life, But that's on you, bud. That's on you. So, yeah. I guess the moral of all that is have a resentful love for your children, right? Make them regret that you brought them into this world. And then when they're 35, they're like, you know what, Dad? I love you. And you'll be like, yeah, I guess I made you not too bad. So, but you know what? I'll tell you one thing. I'll make sure they have clothes to put in a drawer. um, that's half the battle of surviving. Because you know what? Here's what I'll do. Like on their college campus or wherever campus. You know what? I'll give them an apartment off campus. You know, I'll even be that nice of a guy, you know. Because while all the other guys are trying to bring girls to their dorm room, you could be like, hey, I got a full bathroom and kitchen. Even though she can't cook anyways. So, but you know what? It's the thought that counts. Like, girls are always fascinated by things that they can't do anyways. Like, ooh, he's got a full kitchen, a full bathroom. It's like, you don't even know how to wipe your ass correctly. Why does it matter if I have a full bathroom? I'm sorry. I'm being a fool. Just being a young fool here. But yeah, you know, I would want to do something like that. Who needs Duck Dynasty when you got a Often Beat Dynasty, huh? You know what? I just thought of it. Here's what I'm gonna do. When my kids turn like 15, I'm gonna pass this show off to them, and they're gonna take over and be like, "Hey, look, I gave you this gold mine, man. I gave you this. I'm gonna prove to you that it's not about the connections you have and all that shit. It could get you in the door. But if you fuck up this thing I worked for 20 years and created this value and you fuck it up, just know that's because of you sack of shit. You got full control of the show edit. Use the trademark. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to go do my own thing. Start a new show. Whatever the fuck. And talk about like paintings or some shit when I'm done talking in front of a camera, you know. It's like, I did my years. You know what? And you won't even stick to this for 3 weeks because I know how your lazy ass is, all right? You haven't finished your guitar lessons, all right? But anyways, all right. I think I'm done. All right, guys. Yeah, that's how we end the show. I just say I'm done. Well, that's simply how it ends. I'm just like, I'm done. And then I cook her breakfast to say I'm sorry. That was episode 244 of the Off and Beat podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Most important, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to suck some titties. And hopefully that trademark doesn't get me fired. But hey, what happens in a workplace happens in a workplace. All right. Have a great day, night, evening, Christmas. Greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, whatever the fuck you do on Christmas. But yeah, have a great day. Meep. Oh yeah. Look at this sexy werewolf looking ass motherfucker.